Yeah. What are some of the barriers? And I'm thinking of specifically people on the ground, whether they're communities or individuals or women who are responsible for cooking. What are
Mhm.
some of the barriers that they face, in towards improving their situations that, that solar cookers kind of helps bridge that gap for?
Right. Yeah. So to provide a bit of a more specific example, so we've been doing work in Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya, and so let's take a typical family there. So the groups that manage the refugee camp, there's no big electrical grid that anybody can just, like I said,
Yeah.
plug a microwave into. So people have to find solutions in terms of how to cook their food and how to heat their water to make it safe to drink.
Mhm.
And the organizations that run the refugee camps do provide some fuel wood, which is actually really expensive and inconvenient for them. But that actually does not even meet the cooking needs of these families. So then they're left to try and find other solutions in terms of how to be able to cook their food. And that can include trading or selling part of their food rations so that they actually have the ability to cook their remaining food, which with already a limited supply and, oftentimes household sizes of 9 or 10,
Mhm.
that's definitely not an ideal situation. Or trying to go out and gather wood, which there can be conflicts between the host population and the refugee population if they're competing over the same resources. So that can be challenging as well. Um, so solar cooking is really a great solution because once you have a solar cooker, there's no ongoing fuel cost. You don't need to go chop down wood. You don't need to try and buy fuel. A lot of the other families that we work with, if their option left is to buy fuel, they can spend, 40% of their income, their household income, on trying to buy fuel.
Okay.
And when you're looking at living off of like $2 a day,
Mhm.
if you can put that money towards being able to buy food or cover healthcare costs or school fees instead of this ongoing fuel cost, because the sun is free
Yeah.
delivered to your doorstep every day,
Right.
then that really empowers families and communities to be able to invest in themselves and in other resources that will really improve their quality of life for themselves and next generations.
Mhm.
Especially if you're looking at things like school fees, being able for a family to invest in that will really just have positive impacts for successive generations.
Yeah. Thanks for explaining the externalities of that too, because sometimes we hone in on the one item and we don't think about the impacts that, like you just said, they can send their children to school, they save a lot of time, they can maybe not as much in a refugee camp, it depends on the situation, but spend time generating income in other ways. So, it really does revolutionize their capacity to do more with what time they have. So